But like so about Funda AI,
Yep.
Funda AI is a hold on, this slide is not what okay. Funda AI is an AI school to build like self-driven young Africans between 12 and 18 into globally competitive software engineers. So we're not
Hmm.
trying to build like engineers. We're trying to build like world-class engineers who can communicate like things really well, who can take initiative to like I guess find problems to solve without being told what to do from very early on,
Hmm.
and who have obviously technical expertise. This goes without saying. That's like a requirement in general, but who also understand the business context of what they're building very early on. So that's
Yep.
the broader goal. That's why we want to start off with like when they're young. When you capture them young, you can start embedding the skills a lot easier, and it compounds as they grow older and learn more things. So how it works is there's two facets to Funda AI. There's the virtual
Hmm.
campus and the virtual apprenticeship. So the virtual campus is in the form of a laptop. Kids or their parents rather buy a laptop. The laptop runs on Linux. The rationale behind that is you want to, well, the parents I spoke to when I was just carrying
Hmm.
out this research, they care a lot about like, what if my kid looks at inappropriate sites? Linux allows for that like more like greater control of what you can look at, better parental control. But beyond that, I see Linux as a playground that enables you to build a young kid's mind into your engineer's mind. Like being able to play around with the terminal, things like that. It helps like start building that engineering mindset at the very least. So there's that like OS system. The laptop is running with an offline AI model, so an LLM model running locally, essentially. It's a small model,
Okay.
but it's running locally. It syncs up with like these larger open source models whenever they're online. So it creates the experience of the end user as though it's offline first, when in actual fact we're just caching like responses from like the larger models. And then we're passing on
Okay.
the smaller tasks to like the small model sitting on the laptop. And then
Oh,
within
okay.
that is an ecosystem of AI tutors. Now, in practical terms, there's an app store that I use to distribute the AI tutors that we build. And the AI tutors themselves are just desktop apps that are interfacing with like the cloud-based AI. Now, there's AI tutors do specific things. Think of it this way, like we are building AI tutors that help build a child's mind to think like you and me. How do you think like an engineer, basically? Problem solving, pattern recognition,
Hmm.
systems level thinking, and just basic software engineering fundamentals. So that's the virtual campus. Now, the thing is with self-learning is even as adults, even when you have a driven adult who has a goal, self-learning is very difficult. Now, for kids, it's even more. It's the challenge is even more difficult. If you give them a laptop, they're going to be playing games on the laptop all day, most likely.
Yep. Hmm.
So now to reinforce that, you the the virtual apprenticeship comes into play. So with that, what it actually means in practical terms is we open source building the Funda AI tutors. So for example, me and you have this conversation. I find out that engineers like you who care about educating kids to build engineers, we formulate an idea of an AI tutor that you believe would be helpful in helping um, build some skill that you believe makes you a good engineer, basically. So whatever that skill is, like translating that into an AI tutor. So once we have that scope defined of the AI tutor that you want to build, I would then collaborate with you to help you build that feature, that AI tutor faster, asynchronous. So we form our own little engineering team between myself and you. So with that team,
Okay.
to be able to like, do this task between ourselves, I would have to break down the tasks required to build this AI tutor into tickets. And some
Hmm.
of these tickets will be small. So for example, you might have a ticket that's like design a button or like style a button. So those tickets are then given to the kids. The kids work on those tasks.
Okay.
guided by their mentor. The kids push code, we review the code, we send code reviews. Now, the code review could be in the form of text, video, whatever you feel is however you feel you want to communicate the review that makes more sense to you. That
Okay.
review is then reviewed by the kid and the mentor. The mentor uses that review to educate the kid about what was wrong with their code. Why is that a problem? What do they need to work on? So it's like the kids are functioning in a software engineering team, essentially. Now, the assumption is that when you get kids like building AI tutors that they
Hmm.
then use for their virtual campus, it's a very empowering feeling. So that creates a cycle where they're actually encouraged to use their virtual campus to learn, to learn. So it's reinforced self-learning because there's a purpose behind the learning. They're learning so that
Hmm.
they can actually like build and provide value in an engineering team. And it goes beyond just like just like here's a task, push some code. We want to get the kids involved in even the strategy call. So once we have this the scope for whatever you want to build, we want to have the kids involved in that conversation to give them that context of understanding the business context behind what you're building. So it basically functions like they're in an engineering team, essentially. That's the whole idea. Do you have any questions so far before I speed past this part?
So far, uh, maybe you can finish, then I can, because I wanted to, I wanted you to go through the flow again. So considering it's a self-reinforcement learning kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So the mentor they'll have, it'll be a person they know will be available physically, right?
For the time being, not physically, the mentor will be available remotely until like we
Oh,
can
okay.
like, scale enough to actually get them physically available.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was the missing piece of the puzzle. Okay.
Okay, this is mapping up what we already spoke about. So like there's other things that are in their laptops, like the IDEs we use, like Cursor, for example, so they can start building with like AI essentially. So for
Mm-hmm.
example, one AI tutor that I already have built for the MVP is an AI tutor that it understands the child's like problem-solving abilities using non-programming questions and their interests, and then gives them projects to build. It breaks those down into tickets, and then for each ticket, it
Oh, nice.
generates like prompts that they then pass into Cursor. But of course, you don't want to get into this cycle of kids just thinking engineering is passing prompts into Cursor and just generating code. The prompts themselves are designed to not give them the full code for that particular task. It's like it gives them some of the missing pieces and then some questions and then some context over what they're doing. So if they figure things out
Okay.
themselves, either ways. I think it's still an essential
Uh,
part of like learning. It's the struggle part. So the
uh,
current progress is there's an MVP that's been like launched in the form of an actual laptop given to my 12-year-old nephew in Zimbabwe. And I've been
mhm.
mentoring him, like just doing weekly mentorship sessions to just internally understand like how do you explain these concepts that we understand ourselves in a way that makes sense to someone who's a 12-year-old. If you can explain something to a 12-year-old, the other ages become easier at that point. So it's a good starting point. This is the
Yep.
picture of him with his laptop, essentially. Um,
On slide 6.
what's that, sorry?
On slide 6.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
These are the ideas people have thrown around like AI tutors they would want to build. So, I mean, I understand that like we just had this call right now, so you might not have an idea like of an AI tutor that you want to build, but I still want to give you the context and have a conversation with you. But like from what
Mhm.
we've spoken about, are there any ideas that pop up in your mind around like things you'd want to build to help build future engineers?
Okay. The first right now, probably something along the line of debugging. Anything that will help them get better at that. Yeah.
Okay. So what I can do is